What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm James and this is Clearwater Fishing. Today we're doing some bass fishing. The water temp has dropped significantly since the last time I've been out here. You know, work, weather, and then I got sick a little bit there for a little while. Kind of kept me off the water, but I'm glad to be back out. Today we're doing something a little different than I've ever done on the channel before. It's a little jerkbait fishing. This particular one is the Junior Scout from the Googan Squad. It dives 3 to 5 feet. Last time I was out here, I did play with it a little bit. Had some really good success, caught 4 or 5 bass on it. We're going to try to repeat that success today, and I'm going to show you a few things that I've learned shortly while jerkbait fishing, and some of the things that I've seen other people do, and give you some tips and pointers along the way. So y'all stay tuned, and let's get out there and go catch some fish. May have already told you guys, but this is the Googan Squad Junior Scout. It's a shorter one. It's 3 to 5 feet. Don't remember the color, but I think you guys can get a good picture of it. Yellow on the bottom, purple on the top. Got the bone color, translucent color in the middle. Looks pretty good. I've caught some fish on it already. I'm fishing on the rod today. It's an Xfinity Speed Stick, an IM7 Endurance. It's a medium 610 medium power rod. It's got a fast tip. And the rod that I have today is a 13 Origin C. I think I said rod, it might be real. It's a 6:6 to gear ratio. Just really want something to fill up slack as I'm casting. I'm gonna fish it for a little while. Gonna point out some tips to you guys. Maybe we can go catch us a few fish today. I'm floating toward my bait. Water temp is 48 degrees, so pretty cool. So a couple things that I have learned, and I've learned from other people as well. I'm not going to take full credit for everything here. The rod handle is important. You don't want a rod handle that is too long and that hits you in the gut while you're twitching it. And it's very important to, when you're twitching, to twitch pretty much straight down. Whatever the pattern is you're doing, straight down. So that means you don't want the rod to really hit you in the gut. Rod length is also important. I'm using a 610, and you can see my tip is just a few inches above the water. Sometimes it dips into the water. So when you first start using a jerkbait, if it's the first time you ever used it, it is, oh, that felt different. It is not anything else that I have really ever fished. It's fished almost solely twitching. Actually, it should be solely twitched with different patterns of twitches. So right now I'm doing a 2, pause 2. If that doesn't work, then we will switch it up, maybe to a 1, pause, and play with the pauses. So the only other thing I can tell you there is, as the water does get colder, you're supposed to lengthen your pause. But man, I like fishing fast, so I think if they're not gonna bite it, they're not gonna bite it. That's my personal opinion. You gotta experiment for yourself. Got a little bit of a breeze today, not too bad. It's actually a beautiful day to be out at the lake. First thing you want to do, you just cast it out, reel it in just a little bit to get it to depth, and then you want some slack and start twitching. And as I'm twitching, I'm reeling in slack, but leaving a little bit of slack out there so when I twitch it, I'm not just pulling the bait. It's getting a good jerk. And you don't have to be, oh, got us a fish. Got us a fish. Get on in here. It's a white bass. That's a pretty good sized white bass. Said we were bass fishing, right? Well, we caught us a white bass. Well, you interrupted my lesson, buddy. but I don't mind because I caught a fish. Skunk bug's gone. You hook me, I'm gonna be really, really angry with you. All right. That's a pretty good sized white bass. Got a little sore on him there. I'll check him out for a second. He is rather chilly. He'd be a good eater if you're hungry today. We'll let him go. Not exactly what we're hunting for, but hey, caught a fish. Now, where was I before I was rudely interrupted? You reel it down to depth, and then you want to start twitching with slack in your line. You don't have to do powerful switches, especially here in the wintertime. And you just want to keep reeling your slack in just a little bit at a time, leaving some slack in there, giving it twitches. They say twitch straight down. I always find it just a slight bit easier doing it this direction. I don't know if you guys can see. It's still right in front of me, but it's almost straight down. But not quite. It's just like a slash, like I'm slashing something with the stick. Like when you're a little kid, you just whack. And that's what I'm gonna be doing for a little bit. It's kind of cool to, catch a fish while you're doing a lesson. That's kind of cool. That hasn't ever happened to me. But we're gonna go keep fishing. Oh, something else is if you feel bottom or you hit something that you think's bottom, you give it a twitch up. You can twitch up a couple twitches to give it a little different cadence, a little different look. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and then maybe a up, and 1, 2. It just gives it a little different look underneath the water. So far, I went and jerkbait fished at another lake. It didn't pay off as well as this one. I got skunked at that other lake. This one I actually caught a few bass, which was really nice. A lot of times when you're doing this jerkbait fishing thing, you won't really feel the fish. The twitch that you do will feel weird, and you're like, "What's that?" And then you end up setting the hook a little bit, just a little lean-to like that. And you're like, "Oh man, I'm either hung or I got a fish." And once it starts to move, you're like, "Oh, that's a fish." It's kind of a extremely unique way to go fishing. It's really unlike anything else. It's still in the moving hard bait category, but I'm actually fishing probably a little too fast here. I need to slow it down. Still in the moving hard bait category, but it's not like fishing a crankbait, and it's not like fishing, like a jig or anything like that. And there are all sorts of jerk baits out here in the world. You can spend quite a bit of money on them if you like. You don't really have to. Like I said, it is kind of power fishing because you are covering quite a bit of water if you want to. And then it's also a little bit of a mixture of a finesse technique, because you are doing pauses and certain things to your lure to make the fish bite. I'm by no means a pro jerkbait fisherman. I think I've already said that, but no way am I a pro. Just a little amateur out here trying to learn a new technique. And I'm not covering every square inch of this bank. If I threw right over here just now. Now I'm going to throw right over here. So there's quite a bit of area I'm not fishing. Oh, one other tip while we're talking about it. When you're twitching down, you don't have to hold your rod straight out in front of you and twitch down. I like the rod to contour to my arm here. And I'll angle it down where my arm is pretty comfortable. And then I'll do my slash like I was talking about. I don't know. You really just want to minimize the amount of energy you put into twitching. That way you don't wear yourself out. Because it does take quite a bit of energy. It's not like dragging a jig or something. or reeling in a crankbait. Got him right here at the boat. Oh, that's a nice one. Nice one. So they're up here in the back of this creek. Man, he's a chunk. Easy, buddy. I know you didn't get the fight. That's all right. You're in the boat, though. You lost. Face it. Oh, my goodness. He choked that thing. He was getting ready to swallow it. He's pretty healthy. All right, guys. So we just caught us a pretty good sized bass. I'm going to get him out real quick. Oh. Got him. Oh. Getting all my stuff wet. Big old chunk. I don't know, probably 2 pounds. He ain't nothing crazy to be talking about here. Hit right there at the boat, which was kind of cool. He didn't get much of a fight, so he's still kind of ticked off about that. Clamp him on real quick. 1.8, so I'm pretty happy with that. I hadn't really caught any big bass, so that's a pretty decent size one. Show them to you guys one more time. Just a big old chunk. Let's let him go. Oh, and he's gone. Well, we caught a couple fish on the jerkbait today. Excellent bait to try. I've only been fishing it for a couple hours. I've had like 3 or 4 bites. I only connected on 2. It's an excellent technique. I'm still working on it, still getting better. If you're ever, curious about trying new lures, definitely give them a shot. You may not be the best at them to begin with, but it's all about a learning process. The more tools and techniques that you have in your arsenal, and the more you learn about where they're beneficial at, the better fisherman you're going to be. But like always, until next time, guys, get out there and go catch you some fish.